Welcome to Friday, September 10th, 2021. Slow changes coming our way over the next 4 to 5 days. We have one more day of hot, high pressure, but the high pressure ridge that's bringing us this summer heat, a lot of record high temperatures yesterday. There'll be some record high temperatures again today. Well, that high pressure ridge is going to take a beating from a pretty potent little front hitting the west coast right now, and it will weaken, but it's such a strong high pressure ridge, it's going to take several Pacific fronts to beat it down, but they will increase these fronts in frequency over the next 7 to 10 days. And we're still looking at bigger changes around that September 20th timeframe, maybe a little before, maybe a little after, but the writing is on the wall. The third week of September, it's going to be a different ball game across the western United States. This current summer pattern going to go away. How about this? Take a look at the radar this morning in the Pacific Northwest and across portions of northern and central California. This is just a really nice area of rain and thunderstorm activity over parts of Washington, Oregon, and northern California. And what's really important is this area right here, and then this area right here later today. These are the areas getting the fires, the bigger fires producing so much of our smoke. Now, this is not going to put the fires out, but this is the best rain, the most recent measurable rain in many, many weeks, probably 2 or 3 months in some parts of the United States. And this is the frontal system that's going to be tracking this way as we head into the weekend. Even some showers developing out ahead of the system across portions of Utah and Idaho this morning. So this is going to attack the high pressure ridge, which is today centered right here. Now, if you remember, the satellite showed you the yesterday and the day before, this whole area was orange and red. So notice there is some higher water vapor content coming into the central and northern Rockies today. And here's that Pacific front right here coming on in. So this wave is going to attack this high pressure ridge and beat it down. So this is the last super hot day, although it's still going to be really hot along and south of I-70 and this area for one more day on Saturday. But the northern Rockies, the Pacific Northwest, the northern plain states going to enjoy some temperatures that are going to stair-step their way down. Not a dramatic, just kind of like a glide slope down in temperatures as we head to the weekend and early next week. This is today's upper level chart with that high pressure ridge centered right here and the Pacific trough coming in right like this. Look what happens though by Monday afternoon. This is today, and by Monday, essentially the big hot dry ridge is gone, really squeezed out, separated a little bit, and we have a more west-east flow with the jet stream, but also another little trough and a cool front that'll be coming our way early next week. So this is going to make the temperatures trend downward, not dramatically, but a gradual decrease, and there's going to be some moisture. Shower and thunderstorm activity across parts of the northern plains and northern and central Rockies will be possible with these frontal systems as we get into tonight and Saturday, and again as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. No one's going to get a lot of rain, but there's going to be some showers and thunderstorms coming on through. This will be especially true in northwestern areas of Wyoming, then maybe along the Colorado-Wyoming border area as we get on into the weekend and early next week as well. And then here you can see the rain across portions of Oregon and Northern California. Most of this is going to be happening today and tonight. Now, long term, I want to show you what we're looking at. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the differences that we see in the long-range trends and give you kind of an example of what happens when we take a look at different computer models. Now, a lot of folks ask me, it's like a computer model is a computer model. Why aren't they all saying the same things? There's the Canadian model, the American model, the European model. Well, they're all built in a similar fashion, but they all have different types of ways to view the weather, to view the topography. And the further out you go, they tend to separate in terms of what their solutions are. So I'm going to give you a snapshot of what I look at every day. When you take a look at a long-range forecast, it has to go out a week to 14 days. You use these modeling tools to try to give you a good example of what's going on. So what I'm going to show you is a forecast for next Saturday, Saturday the 18th of September. And I want to show you what the differences are, because this is going to play a big role on how significant this weather pattern change is going to be around September 20th or so. So the first model I'm showing you is from the European Center. And you're going to see some similarities to the three models I'm going to show you. One similarity is that there's going to be a high pressure ridge developing in the eastern Pacific towards the Gulf of Alaska. The other similarity is going to be an area of low pressure and a development of a big pocket of cold air in Alaska and Northwest Territories of Canada and Western Canada by late next week and next weekend. Now, ahead of that, it's going to generally be a west to east flow across the United States, making temperatures mild to warm, but not as hot as that we have right now. But there's a significant difference between the three different solutions. So the European model shows the trough and the cold front getting into Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia and bringing cool, wet weather to those areas by Saturday morning, next Saturday morning. This is the American model, or what's called the GFS model, the Global Forecast System model. It shows that high pressure ridge here, but it's showing the low having a bit of a further penetration south into Montana and Idaho. But it's a similar pattern, just a little bit different with the placement of things. Then we take a look at the Canadian model. The Canadian model has a stronger area of high pressure here, a stronger area of low pressure here, and a deeper penetration of cold air all the way into the Central Rockies by next Saturday morning. So we have three different scenarios. Starting to get a little bit cooler by Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday of next week, according to the European model. The American model, well, it starts to get colder by Saturday and the Sunday. The Canadian model says, well, the cold front arrives next Friday night and the Saturday. And boy, if the Canadian model is correct, you're talking about some really cold air right here, and you're talking about snow in the mountains for sure, and a significant drop in temperature. This is what the Canadian model looks like for temperature by Sunday afternoon of next Sunday. By next Sunday, a big outbreak of cold across the western United States, even into California and into the Great Basin. And you're talking about deviations of 20 to 30 degrees below average in some areas. The GFS model, or the American model, also is colder, but not as cold. So what I wanted to do to show you this is that the disagreements are enough to make a big difference in the severity of the change in the weather around the 20th of September. So it could come in different forms. As we go forward and as we talk in the podcast early next week, we'll take a look and see which model is going to end up being right. Sometimes the GFS is right. Sometimes the European is right. Sometimes the Canadian is right. Sometimes none of them are right. So I just kind of giving you some insight on what's going to be happening potentially about a week to 10 days from now. So it'll be fun to take a look at these models as we head into next week's podcast. Have yourself a great Friday, a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday.